The patch changes mid-tournament. Yeah, I mean, I can talk about the new patch now, right? This is very worrying for me as well. Like, Riot is dropping an insanely big patch, and it's apparently not even the MSI patch. So I think what they're trying to do is they're gonna drop a massive patch to see if something is unbalanced, and then do another massive patch or a rebalance patch after, and that's gonna be the MSI patch. So this essentially, in a way, is an MSI patch, even though it's not the same patch MSI is going to be played on. And apparently, mid-tournament, we're swapping to this patch. I don't know, man. That sounds kind of disgusting, if you ask me. Anyway, let's get into it. Starting the first of our MSI patch. MSI will be delayed on 25.13. Meta is looking decent. So again, empty words. This is the classic patch preview. Not looking for big meta shakeups, and not too many regions are playing on 25.12 and 25.13. Mostly looking for small touches as a result. So considering there's so many champions here in the changes, the buffs would have to be, or the nerfs would have to be very small for not a big meta shake to happen. Rumble and Gwen have been re-ignite. I had no idea. Supreme in top lane recently, tapping them down a little to make the room for a few different picks. So here's one of the funniest things I've encountered. When the Gwen nerfs happened, because I think Riot nerfed Gwen 2 times in a row, I remember on Gwen subreddit, the Gwen mains started crying how the champion is unplayable and how Riot needs to buff it, how it's so weak because it had a negative win rate or something when it's a high mastery skewed champion. And here we are, a couple of patches later, she has to be nerfed again because, well, obviously she's still overpowered. Our Garn changes were pretty under magnitude, looking to further his AD incentives.
You are not in pot 1 for the groups after winning EU Masters.
Yeah. To make some of the more AD-oriented fighter builds more viable, our changes narrow the gap from Cleaver to Phantom Dancer. It's still a bit off. So I think what they're saying here is PD is still probably better on Garn. So they need to make like more changes to further incentivize Bruiser Garn instead of Crit Garn. Aatrox changes also undershot a bit, at least trying to put him back to where he was last patch. So Aatrox lost a bit of win rate. It's understandable. His passive is like a big portion of how much he heals per fight, and they nerfed that pretty hard with the percent going down with Thunder Sky build. Jax has lost a bit of relevance, just giving him a small bump up. So it's probably going to be AD Jax, not AP. Mord is looking pretty weak, got indirectly nerfed from Liandry. Has a pretty shallow master curve, giving him power. Jungle, Lee Sin has fallen out of favor compared to a lot of other AD junglers, especially in a more coordinated environment, looking to carve out more of a strategic identity for him compared to the other AD fighters in particular. He's one of the few champs where him being a carry champ buffs allies, and we're also leaning into that aspect. Okay, I'm not really sure what that means, but I do think buffing Lee is a good idea. I honestly think it's been forever since Lee Sin was meta. I think Lee Sin is probably a good thing to have in the meta, honestly. He's one of the more skilled junglers, to be honest, because there are at least some skill shots you can dodge here and there. Not looking to buff too many of the AP junglers going into the tournament, as they tend to take over, but Nidalee is weak for both solo queue and pro, throwing her a bone. Is Nidalee weak? I mean, the only thing that I can remember is that Liandry recently got nerfed, and then the nerf Horizon Focus, which was a basically Nidalee's build, right? But does that make the champ weak? I'm not honestly sure. I mean, Genji is still drafting it first rotation a lot. Vi is still the most present jungler in the prot meta. We're looking to try and correct some of this moving into the tournament. So I guess that means it's another Vi nerf, hopefully. But I don't think Vi is that good anymore, so kind of confused. I think people are just playing Vi because people are bad at adapting to patches. Finally, RAMMUS, we're making some changes to make him more generically pickable. His identity compared to Malphite is more of a durable champ that goes fast, and having him be too tied to armor is hurting his viability. So, okay, yeah, I saw the Freak rework. Freak is doing the RAMMUS rework. Yeah, they're basically gonna make him be better against magic damage and not only be against physical damage. I think it looks fine. Yeah. He's still benefiting from building defensive. His taunt is still very good against auto-attackers because they'll damage themselves, but just a little less polarizing. Yeah. We'll chat about mid-bot support tomorrow, so basically not much to go off in this patch preview. It's just a lot of champions, right? So Aatrox, okay, yeah, lost win at last patch, giving him a bit back. Aphelios, very interesting. Aphelios right now, from my memory, I think sits at very high win rate for a champion that, you know, when he's usually close to 50%, people are always scared that he's going to take over pro play, and it's a very pro-skewed champion. So very interesting they're going for another Aphelios buff. Last time they gave him, I think, a little bit of attack speed, was mostly a placebo buff, but he's doing quite well, and also like the build kind of works for him right now. He has like Yuntal, Infinity LDR, this is like the best ADC build right now anyway, and he does benefit a lot from that build being good. Aurora mid focus, so I think here it's impossible that they're gonna buff Aurora mid without buffing Aurora top. That's just not happening unless they give her MR or something, per base MR maybe or something, but even then I think this is going to be equally as buffed. I think this is fine, even though Luden's got a bit buffed, whatever, like Aurora is still kind of bad. Bart, so this one honestly, like, I just know I'm gonna have to permaban this champ, and I already do. This champ is way too overpowered in high elo, but it's just too weak for majority of player base. So buffing Bard is just crazily stupid. I hate it personally. I get why they're doing this. They're just doing it so Bard will be forced to be played at MSI more. Pretty much, that's the reason. They're just forcing him to be more played by pro players. I think this champion is extremely overpowered in high MMR. Garen, so same as Aatrox kinda, okay, sure. The thing is, Garen is most likely statistically not as bad as it seems out to be, because people need to adapt playstyle and people need to adapt builds, right? When there's such a massive change where he's no longer a crit champion, he's more of a bruiser. Jax, okay, sure. LeBlanc, yeah. It's the usual MSI patch where they're gonna put LeBlanc into the meta and then nerf her after. Lee Sin, yeah, sure, I like that one. Mort, okay. Nidalee, sure. Samira. So Samira, they buffed last patch. If you look at the builds right now, BT Rush is not as good as Collector Rush. It's wrong to rush BT. So it's not enough what they did last patch. I'm honestly not sure how good Samira is because she's also extremely high mastery skewed. So looking at like win rates in Diamond or Emerald for Samira is practically useless. Twisted Fate, another buff. So this one, I'm a little bit surprised that they're buffing him again. But I think this is kind of the same reasoning as the Blanc. They're just going to force him to be meta at MSI. And I think, yeah, the last patch they gave him like 10 damage in Q, which was like mostly placebo buff. It's only level 9 that has any impact. And then here Yasuo. Happy about this one. I've been of an opinion that Yasuo is too weak and needs to be buffed. I would like Riot to somehow make Yasuo be better in high elo without buffing his low elo too much. Because the problem with Yasuo is that he's just better in low elo than high elo. And I would like them to change that somehow. Champ nerfs, Ahri, okay? That's the first one on the chopping block, one of the more staple mid laners in pro play, very OP. Same for Azir here, and same for Talia here. So that's 3 mid laners that are going to be nerfed simply because of pro. Then we have Gwen and Rumble and Yorick. This is for top lane. Super happy about all these choices. I think Shen is kind of missing in the list here, but I definitely think Yorick is one of the most failed reworks Riot has put out in a long time recently, and I just hope Riot hard nerfs the champ. Then we have Kalista. I don't understand what is happening here. So Kalista, I think right now is one of the worst champions in League of Legends, and the fact that she's getting nerfed again is just fucking crazy to me. Nico, that's another pro play specific nerf. Okay, so the thing about Nico is, I personally think Riot needs to... what I would like to happen is, I would like Nico to be less bullshit about W, remove some of these interactions that she has, where she can keep the clone in for the same spot for a long time, or make follow with champions. Her clone in general is just extremely buggy, where you can hit it and then it stays alive for another 3 to 4 seconds, so even though it should die after like a second after you hit it. Has tons of bugs, and then on top of that, her support item interaction is very stupid. She has a support item, the one that like slows people. It works on her clone and it's a very broken interaction. I also hope they remove that. Overall, I would like Riot to actually readjust Nico. Just make her a war support and make her a better mid laner by basically nerfing her maybe base damages or somewhat, or utility, and buffing her AP ratios or something so she doesn't fall off a cliff on mid lane. And then Senna, yeah, no surprise there. Senna ADC is like the highest winner champion in the game. It's also the highest pick rate champion and the highest ban rate ADC, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Kind of surprising that Senna is this strong though, because all they did was just bump up her soul win rate gain on ADC, and it's just somehow made her so OP. Pretty crazy, honestly, but yeah, okay. Honestly, the champion nerf list looks really good for pro play specific. Even Varus here, another ADC that is incredibly stupid. Like, I hope they touch Lethality Varus without making on-hit Varus a lot worse. On-hit Varus is for sure fine. Lethality Varus is just stupid and shouldn't even be in the game. The champ nerf list looks amazing, honestly. Like, very, very happy about this, because we need some pro play changes. The interesting part here is that support role honestly seems to be really untouched. There's no Ralt nerf here for some reason. There's no, I don't know, Braum or Naut or I don't know. There's no melee support nerfs at all. It's just Bard buff and that's it. Like, they're just keeping support meta exactly the same. Champ adjustments, RAMMUS and Vi. Okay, cool. Well, we'll see you tomorrow for all the in-depth changes. But I think most of the changes are just going to be placebo. There's going to be like 1 + 1% win rate, minus 1% win rate type of thing.